There we go. All right, so we're good. So today we're here with Exams PM and Cynthia Trahyn.
Fine.
Cynthia,
Yeah,
please
that's
correct
fine.
me.
Don't worry.
um, she's talking to us from Mexico City today, and I want to welcome you and thank you very much for being here and sharing your ideas about your certification. I understand that you took the our immersion course. Is
Yeah,
that
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions, and feel free to answer just the way you'd like to. Um, the first thing I'd like to ask is why is it that you decided to take the PMP, and give us a little bit about your story.
Okay, perfect. Well, I decided to take the PMP mainly driven, by my career development, right? I have been, working as a PM for probably 7 years now.
Okay.
I have managed, global projects, within the tech industry, the technology industry.
Hmm.
And it's like I had a lot of experience there, but the certification was always postponed, right? Because as PMs we sometimes have very, very busy lives, right? And
Yes.
we are busy all the time, so I was postponing that all the time until I really got this reflection from my upper management as well, where they question, like, you have these years of experience, you have delivered good results.
Yeah.
If you have this certification, you would probably be considered for a promotion, right? And
Okay.
they really encouraged me to think about it, right? And to, you know, stop procrastinating. I think that's it, right? So after having this um, discussion, right, with my manager, I thought that it was the time for me to focus on this particular certification, right?
Sure.
My experience was that I went through a course, right, last year. I I did the exam, presented the exam, but I was not successful, at that
Okay.
first try.
Okay.
And I realized that for different reasons, right? Either because you are very busy, because you are unable to focus, accordingly. I was not successful at the first try,
Hmm.
but after that happened, I was, as usual, I was really like disencouraged. I really wanted, like, I don't want to know anything about this certification again, right?
Right. Right.
And
You
that
got a little
probably,
discouraged.
yeah,
I
that
can
probably
totally
took
understand.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think it's normal, right? So I really want to share my experience because probably a lot of people out there are, experiencing something similar, right? So
Yeah.
I decided to take a break, let's
Uh,
say. And then, but that break was probably that break was 7 months, right? So,
yeah. Okay.
you know, after I saw, because you have this 1 year, period to present the exam.
Yes.
So when uh, you know, I just, reviewed that, my timeline was, getting closer. And I said, okay, I don't want to really miss, this year, and
Hmm.
I will, try again,
Right.
and that's why, I started looking for, options for me, to refresh all the knowledge, right? Because, after taking the course, probably, I mean, that happened a year ago. So I was just not, how can I tell? I forgot a lot of concepts and situations, that
Yes.
are needed,
Yes. Yes.
So I started looking for options of, courses that were, you know, I was looking for something practical, right? Like,
Hmm.
I am very busy, I have a lot of projects going on, and I don't
Hmm.
have maybe, a lot of time to take a presential um, course,
Yeah.
So I found these exams, exams PM,
Okay.
and I started following your, like your, I started following you guys in YouTube and, in your web page, and I started looking for, different options, right? I was not really deciding anything at that point. So what I liked from this course is that it was very short, it was only a 2-day.
Right, right. That's the immersion course, just for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
listening. We do have a 2-day immersion over a weekend. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, and I really recommend
Mhm.
it, right? Because it really helped me a lot, to refresh all the knowledge that, it was there in my mind, but
Yeah,
I really needed some help, right? To really focus on the important things, because we have, the PMBOK guide is huge. I was just unable to really defer of what is really important,
yes,
and what is not, right?
yes. It's definitely massive, and
Yeah.
you really do need to focus. I agree with that. Like, if you're, yeah, some people, they read that over and over again and they still have problems, because they don't know where to focus. So it's a
I
very good
know.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when I read about this course, and it was just for a weekend, I think that it was 5 hours per
Mhm.
per day. And what I liked was like, we will focus on what you really need to know and what you really need to learn to be successful, for the exam. And I decided to give it a try, right? Because I was with this, very very tight deadline, and I really wanted to do it, right? And so
Yes.
I looked for options. I found you on the web, and I just decided to go for it. And it was a really good experience, right? I mean,
Good.
it helped me a lot to focus on the key concepts and really important stuff, instead of feeling drowning
Yeah.
between many a lot of information.
Mhm.
So it really helped me a lot. And after the course, I dedicated 3 weeks to study.
Okay.
I went through the lectures,
Okay.
and then I worked on the exams, on the mock exams, on the simulators, I think.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, because
And
some people don't do simulation questions, and I think that it's really important to do a lot of them.
yeah, it is very important to do a lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's very I think that was the main difference, between my first try and the second
Mhm.
try, right? Because
Okay.
when I went for the exam the first
Mhm.
time, I honestly, I didn't do many of these simulators, so I was, when I arrived to the exam, the questions were very situational, very long questions.
Yeah.
And honestly, I failed, right? That's it. I failed. So the second time, I took your course, which was awesome for me because really highlighted key concepts, key points. It was more strategic, let's say,
Mhm. Mhm.
on, really getting into the important stuff, right? And then I studied for 3 weeks. I went, through the lectures, I did the mock exams, and I presented the exam on September 13th, I think, and I was successful. And my score was above average. So
Yeah.
yeah, I felt
Awesome.
super happy, with the result. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, because it was a relief, because I was having some of pressure, from my team,
But
my managers.
okay.
They were kind of pushing, for because the company that I work for has PMs that work regionally, right? That are managing regions. So I'm in charge of managing the LATAM region.
Yeah.
So sometimes we do have, and I understand that, right? We have some pressure from the management to
Yeah.
have the certification, in order to advance, our career within the
Okay.
company, right?
Okay. Okay.
So honestly, it was just, it was awesome for me, right? Because I was just, you know, I felt super happy because really the knowledge was really good.
Mhm. Mhm.
The
Mhm.
result was awesome. My managers are super happy. I am super
Wow.
happy.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really great. Um, Cynthia, I don't want to take up too much more of your time because we did promise this would be a short interview. Is there any key tips that you might give people, like that you know, to help them in their sort of pursuit? I know you mentioned a whole lot of stuff, but if you're going to boil it down to 2 or 3 key tips that you might
Okay.
offer people, that would be wonderful.
I think that, okay, I would say that, whenever you are done with the course, you
Yeah.
shouldn't you shouldn't overthink on, presenting the exam, just take the course, take probably 3 or 4 weeks, to study, and then go for the exam,
Okay.
because if you let a lot of time, pass by, your knowledge won't be, so fresh, and you will forget concepts. So
Right.
I think that's a good one, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, strike while the iron is hot, they would say, like, you
yeah, right.
know, do
Just
it fast, get her
do it
done.
fast, get it done.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate, because that will cost you you won't be successful if you keep procrastinating, right?
Right, right.
So that's the first tip that I would share, because that's something that really happened to me. And then I would say, focus on these, simulation, the
Hmm.
exam simulators.
Yeah.
Do lots of them, and I really suggest you to do, like exams per chapter, right? Like by
Yeah.
knowledge area,
Yeah.
and then go through the process, like focus on how you are in the planning, execution, monitor
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
control,
Yeah.
that one. And I think that's it. I mean, and take your course. I really recommend this course.
I
It
like that
was key for me.
one.
Yeah. I thought, I was kind of, how can I tell, except, yeah, like, because it's a very short course, right? This is a very short one,
Yeah.
and I was not, honestly, I had some doubts,
Hmm.
but, honestly, due to my workload and the time that I have available, it was the perfect choice for me. So
Yeah.
for PMs that are very busy all the time, that are traveling, that don't have time to invest to be in a presential one,
Hmm.
would be a perfect tool,
A good fit. Yeah. One thing I would add to that, because not everyone knows, but what I would add to that is like this immersion course gives you, I believe, 12 PDUs over the weekend. And for people who want to write their PMP, they'll need 35 training PDUs. So this is really the immersion course is really for people who already have those 35, or they're working towards their 35, and then they want a refresh of their, you know, of their, just like you did, kind of refresh their knowledge and really focus. So that's really the way we've designed it. So I just wanted to make people aware who don't know about that piece.
Oh yeah, that's important. Honestly, I already had the PDUs of the
Yeah,
first course,
yeah.
that I attended. That was a presential one.
Hmm.
But, I think, yeah, several factors are involved, right? But I think
Hmm.
that the key one is that, and I really liked from this course, is that it goes straight to the point. They highlight all the key important information, right? And
Hmm.
they provide, like really good tips on how you should, read the questions, even, during the exam.
Yeah,
And then, yeah, and my suggestion is, take the course, focus on that, study 3 or 4 weeks, no longer than that, and then go for your exam, and you will be successful.
wonderful.
I think that's it. Yeah, and working on the simulation
Yeah.
exams, that's a
Hmm.
key. That's key for everyone who is really, looking for the PMP certification.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing yourself and sharing this wisdom with us
Thank you.
today. And
Thank
all the best. I know that you're going to have a great career. The sky's the limit for you, you know. So,
Yeah, I hope so.
so many thanks to you, and thanks for being here today. Um, yeah. So,
Thank you.
have a great day.
Thank you, Alan, for your time, and
Yeah, you're
for,
welcome.
and for the opportunity to share my experience, right? I think it's very important, for people out there that are looking for options.
Mhm.
I can really talk from my experience, right? So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
really recommend this course,
Mhm.
and yeah, I wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye, Alan. Take care.
You too.